You know, Dansby strikes me as a guy who was good at every level, right? From Vandy to baseball and on up. He had that target, that first overall target, but through it all, he kind of rides the wave, good or bad, D-Ro.
Lauren, I think the one word that kind of sums him up is he's a winner, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I think you got to be around him for $162 to appreciate everything he brings to the table.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, so let's dive in. We're going to dive in. I know you played a little bit with him, so we're going to rip some of his stats right here because somebody's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, and we talked about this coming season, the Seagers and the Correas of the world and Trevor Story as being this great shortstop free agent class. Well, going into 2023, Dansby Swanson certainly making himself a very, very rich man. Look at his ranks in the NL. And I want to just dive in because I think he's a winner, and he's done it at Vanderbilt. He's done it in the World Series, postseason, defense. He beat you in a variety of ways. And last year, 2021, he hit 27 bombs and 88 RBIs. And I want you to take you inside the mindset of what his dad said to him.
The prep work was good again today, and I felt like tonight I was seeing the ball a little bit better. I slowed myself down a little bit more. Talked to my dad on the way over here, and he always gives me great advice, and his one thing was just go be you. Like, your team is better when you are you. Just do you.
So pause this real quick because we were talking before we came out here.
Yep.
And that's what he said. I see a guy who trusts himself.
And I can tell you, I was there, in 2016 when he came up with the Braves.
Yeah.
And the guy had extreme confidence. He gets in there, and you could just see he had kind of an aura about him. He had a ton of expectation, but he had a ton of confidence. Well, the results didn't quite match, right? Like the expectations, which were
tough.
Through the roof. A big trade,
right?
Came over in that Shelby Miller deal, 1-1 guy, absolutely. Ton of expectation, and the whole city of Atlanta was waiting for this young core to come up. He was one of the first ones, if not the first one. So they didn't match, so the confidence kind of suffered a little bit. And for years, he played well. He did Dansby, but he's obviously finding himself and the player that he can be, and it's really impressive. Last year, he came, you don't want to say out of nowhere, but he really came out of nowhere to become this all-around power hitter, could steal bases, great defensive. Literally every phase of the game, he could do it.
I think the beauty of baseball is, and I used to tell myself this coming through the minor leagues, get a little bit better each year. And you feel like your friends in the minors start to fizzle out as you start to continue to get better. And that's what I see with him, just an evolution of a great ball player getting better. So what happens in April, right? You have the World Series hangover. You put in time in the offseason. You come into the season thinking everything's going to be roses, and you get off to this terrible slow start. Kapals, pause this. Bring up the board of his first 14 games. He hit a .143, no homers, 2 RBIs, and his last 60, he has been on an absolute tear. There was a great story in The Athletic kind of chronicling, I don't know what you worked on in the cage, kind of chronicling, we could dive back into his swings, what he was able to do to get out of this funk. So when I watch Dansby, it's a pretty kind of normal setup and load. Run that back for me one more time. It's everything that we talk about, or at least I talk about, right? Why do you load? You load to get into your most powerful position, so pause it right there. But sometimes guys can just, I was a toe tap guy, and Rudy Jaramillo always used to say to me, there's a reason you're doing it. Yeah. Don't just glide through it. Don't just walk through it and not get to your backside. So Dansby Swanson was almost just kind of gliding through his load and not pause that right there. He's ready to go.
That's why I'm a big fan of the leg kick. The leg kick
Were you a leg kick guy?
Yeah, I wasn't early. Early in my career, I was just foot down.
Right?
And then towards the end of my career, I started realizing the point of the leg kick isn't necessarily just to get more power. It's to put me in the right position to be able to attack the baseball.
Exactly.
That's really what it is. And so whenever I'm, talking to young kids or coaches, they say, "Oh, the leg kick, are you sure? Like, can they handle that?" I said, "Yeah, it's just timing. Once you get the timing down, it all works from there. It's easy."
Yeah, you can't cookie cut it. Some guys do it different ways. Albert Pujols, for him, his timing was lift his front foot. Other guys, Josh Donaldson, you're seeing them completely load up. There's toe tappers. There's all different ways. But he has synced it back up, and we'll do a side-by-side. April 23rd, okay? That's a heater, middle, 92, that he is laid on. And then we'll fast forward against the same pitcher, Cole Sulser. May 28th, he bridges it. So pause this. So I want to take you through this because April 23rd, he's going to get blown away and he's going to be late. May 28th, he's going to start a little bit earlier, get into his perfect load, be on time, hitting his timing.
Yeah.
At the
100%.
end of the day, you could do a myriad of things at the plate, but if you're not on time, and we always talked about this as well, it starts from the ground up. You see so many guys throughout the course of time, I don't care where you have your hands.
No, the setup doesn't matter. The setup doesn't matter.
From here up, if you're any athletic, and to get to the big leagues, you got to be athletic, you're going to get to the point of contact on time. I used to say Craig Counsell stood like this, Tony Bautista stood like this. It didn't matter if the lower half locked up.
No.
But can you make an adjustment and get your timing back that quick? I mean, that's a month.
Yes. Lauren, it'll come in one swing, and you don't know
Come on.
when
In the
it's
cage, in the game.
It'll
Doesn't
come in
matter.
one swing. You'll walk out and be like, I'm back.
I got it.
Yep.
And a lot of this stuff these guys are doing now, it's high velocity. They have so much analytics and so much video work that they can break this down. So run this real quick. It looks crazy. It doesn't look like much, but he's just starting a little bit earlier. And when he's right, I think this is the thing that jumps off the page for me, because sometimes he gets into this, I want to pull everything. But when he works the ball up the middle the other way, I mean, that's dead center in Truist Park. These are not short pokes. So to see him drive the ball up the middle the other way, to run the bases the way he does, to play defense the way he does, to add value in all different ways, to trust himself, to be just a true winner, he's really putting himself in that elite class of shortstops going into free agency.
And you talk about him going up the middle the other way. When he first came up, the first thing I noticed about him was he has those Derek Jeter wrists, right?
Yeah.
Where it seems like they can just let the bat lag forever, and then flick whenever they want. And I could never do that. I don't know how, it's super athletic type guys that I find are able to do that. When you can do that, that's your game. Your game is up the middle the other way because you can keep the ball in so many different areas of the ballpark.
Yep.
And then if you need to let it go early for that pitch in, just flick it early.
And it's not like the Braves have some shortstop in waiting in the minor leagues, so he's got them in the crosshairs.
Oh, that's good. It will be interesting, to see what his market looks like come this offseason.